Good morning, good evening, wherever you may be on this fine May the 4th. So yeah, I decided, what better day to do a Jedi-centric Q&A than on, literally, the unofficial let's just call it the Star Wars official holiday. So, let's talk about, do this Jedi Q&A. Now, as always, if I did not answer someone's question, that usually means either YouTube marked it as spam or didn't have it show up on the list. So, let's get into it, shall we? Starting with Ira Sutton, who asks, do you agree with most of the morals of philosophies of the Jedi? I kind of don't, really, because the Force, you see, the Jedi try to abstain from, marriages and, having children, and because it's attachment. Well, Luke's attachment to his friends, while they did hurt him, they also gave him strength. We also have that emotions could generate the Force. If you don't feel anything, then you're not really feeling the full amount of the Force, are you? Another thing is that I never really got why only one apprentice at a time. But yeah, these guys are the most. I will get more into the Jedi stupidity later on, but yeah. To answer that, no, I don't really agree with with a lot of their moralities. Second question: if you were a Jedi, would you prefer to have a curved or straight lightsaber? And what color would you want it to be? Well, I'd go with red, because Sith. But the lightsaber I have from Saberforge is an Acolyte, red saber. Handles pretty good. It's a straight saber. I did want to get the Bane, but that wasn't going to happen. Which is the replica of Darth Bane's lightsaber, which is a curved hilt. I'm really good with the straight hilt. It's really good. It's a two-handed pommel. But having said that, I would be cool with a curved hilt. I feel like a curved hilt would be better suited for my hand. You know what I mean? But anyway, third question. Do you think Finn has what it takes to be a Jedi? What Finn are we talking about? Finn from Adventure Time or Finn from Stormhawks? Because either one of those guys I don't think could cut it, because they can't really, suppress their emotions all that well. And if you say no love to Stormhawks Finn, he will freak the fuck out. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Ira. Moving on now to Nolan Uno, who asks, I want to get into Jaina Solo. What comic books and novels do you recommend I read? Well, the Thrawn trilogy, also known as the Dark Empire. Well, you can just call it the Thrawn trilogy or Heir to the but it's known as the Heir to the Empire trilogy. Those novels, and then go check out the Yuzan Vong stories, which really get into Jason and Jaina's storyline and beyond. So I kind of go from there and then work further from there. Anyway, second question: what cartoon team do you want Ahsoka to be a part of? I guess maybe. Well, you also said, Ahsoka, do you want a Ahsoka TV show? I don't know, because Ahsoka can be a hit-and-miss character with me, but and what can you do, really, what can you really do with Ahsoka that hasn't already been done with Rebels? Oh, she's part of the Rebel Alliance. I mean, you could do a mini-series, you could probably get a mini-series out of that, but other than that, with a team? Guess maybe Avengers? I don't know. Third question. Name 5 Jedi would you put on a Death Trooper ship and that they could escape from? Okay, Jedi Master Thom, Quinlan Vos, Shakti, Kit Fisto, and Kyle Katarn. There you go. Thank you for those questions, Nolan. Moving on now to Predator Warrior 18, who asks, if Anakin were to time travel into the future and join the rebellion, meet his son, but later Darth Vader finds out shockingly who Vader really is, what do you think he would do? Join Vader, or continue fighting with the rebellion, kill Vader out of anger, destroying everything they both loved and protected? Or D, go into hiding in the Outer Rim and he believes he's safe from being corrupted? I don't know. Time travel is something that I feel like should never be part of Star Wars. I feel like, time travel shouldn't. That's like something that should never be part of Star Wars. I can abide by time travel in a lot of things. For some reason, I just cannot abide time travel in Star Wars. Because all that shit is set in stone, and if you go messing with it, we're gonna have problems, okay? Yeah. You can do cloning. Albeit in the previous extended universe, they really cranked out the cloning to the point where it got ridiculous. You can do, a lot of stuff regarding with sci-fi, but do not do time travel. But if I was to give him a choice, I guess maybe D. He'd freak out and go into hiding. There you go. So think of those questions. That question, Predator Warrior. Moving on now to King Nazru, who asks, if Revan and Anakin Skywalker met, how do you think they would get along? A lot of people pointed out they have a lot in common. I think it would be interesting for them to meet, although it's with Revan, it's a man going out of the darkness into the light. With Anakin, it's a man from the light going into darkness. So I think they would be very much opposite, but I feel like they'd find some common ground at least. So, second question. Fuck, marry, kill. Satil San, Shakti, Jensa, Wilsam. I guess kill Jensa, fuck Satil, and marry Shakti. There you go. Third question. If you saw Darth Tylee kill Luke and Leia in her plan to balance the Force and getting rid of the Skywalker bloodline and avenge her idol Darth Sidious, how would you prepare Ben, Jaina, and Jason to fight her? Again, with the Darth Tylee thing. I mean, I know it. I mean, good on you for making that, but I just don't. I just can't take her as like a serious like Dark Lord of the Sith. Apprentice, maybe, like something like Darth Maul, like a Sith agent, but never like a full-on Sith Lord. That would be Azula's job, to be a full-on Sith Lord. I'm not mocking you or anything. Just me personally, I just can't see it. But in regards to the question, how would I train them? Go, spread some Vaseline on the floor so she can't do flips and shit. But yeah. Anyway. So think of those questions, King Nazru. Moving on now to Christian Sager, who asks, Yoda meets the Gremlins. Also, you can't tell me that they look like his tweaker grandkids. You're right. You're right. Yoda would be like, embarrassed by you, I am. Second question. Why is the Oh, hang on, I misread that question. Why is it Jedi never hire bounty hunters to help out on missions? Why they work with few dozen royal families, so it isn't like they can't afford it? That's a good-ass question. I think it may be something to do with the Jedi, like, oh, we're Jedi, we're the great, celestial knights of the galaxy. We don't need no stinking bounty hunters that could turn on us at any second. Although they did kind of do that in that Seven Samurai homage episode in Clone Wars. Third question. What are the benefits of joining the Jedi Order? Like, do they offer dental? No, you're pretty much taken as a child against your will to be trained, in this dogmatic religious order to, defend the whole galaxy from people who, feel emotions. You're not supposed to feel anything. You're not supposed to have lovers or children. It's pretty much like Scientology, just a lot worse. Oof, that joke. Even I felt that one. Oof, that was... Oof. Anyway. Man, that joke just came out, didn't it? Anyway. 146 Zigzag, who asks, do you think you'd be more a traditional Jedi like Obi-Wan or a gray Jedi like Qui-Gon? Probably more gray Jedi. Honestly, I'd be always questioning the council and I think I would call Yoda right to his face. Oh, come on, Rumple Foreskin. Second question: if you were Force sensitive and was leaning towards the dark side, what Jedi do you think would have the best chance of convincing you to join the light side? Probably Master Thalm. The dude brought his apprentice back from the dark side twice. So yeah, it'd probably be Master Thalm. Third question, what do you think are the pros and cons of the Jedi Code overall, and do you think it works? No, it doesn't, because the Jedi were stupid enough to allow a Dark Lord of the Sith, and the Sith in general, get the best of them, which inevitably led to their downfall from within. And the fact that, they at least didn't they didn't investigate the whole thing Tyrannus claimed. Like, oh yeah, he could have been lying, that there's this Darth Sidious is in the Senate, but we should at least humor ourselves and look into it. One Jedi did, Ron Har Kim, and that got him killed because no one backed him up on this claim. Anyway, Anyway, thank you for those questions, Zigzag. Moving on now to Frost Wolfpack. As Sith had their hand on many lightsaber designs, what are some of the more Jedi origins? Pretty much the same, although now Disney is claiming that the crossguard saber is the more classic design, even though you never see that in the previous EU. But the more I look at the crossguard saber, the more I'm like, yeah, I kind of dig it. Second question. Do you see more free-thinking military mystic Jedi organizations work? Yeah, I can see it. I would like to see, it would be cool I'm surprised they didn't do this in the later EU, is have like multiple Jedi groups, that one was for military, one was a more religious organization, and one was more free-spirited. I'm surprised that didn't happen in the previous EU. Third question, what minds are the Jedi strengths compared to what in your mind are Jedi strengths compared to Sith? You can come back as a ghost. Your spirit is still alive, whereas the Sith, your body decays to the point where, your soul doesn't come back. And the only reason Vader came back was because he became one with the Force again to save his son. Yeah. Same with those questions, Frost Wolfpack. Moving on now to Lydia Cerebreos. Moving on, and she asks, how would you have Luke rebrand the Jedi Order to fix all the hypocrisy in the newer films? In the previous EU, when he, restarted the Jedi Order, I believe on Yavin. Yeah, I think it was Yavin. Which is funny because Yavin, the temples of Yavin 4 you see are actually Sith temples, so I always thought that was funny. I think one way you could do this, to have him restart, but I have a feeling like he's just going to be like, this version of the Jedi Order is going to be like the old Jedi Order. But yeah, in the previous EU, he allowed Jedi to feel love and have families. He allowed, because he believed their emotions could be strengthened through the Force, and the bonds they had, just like the bonds he had with Han and Leia, also gave him a lot of power. And he believed that could be the case with others. So I guess like when he was trying to restart the Jedi Order, and then Ben turned on him and became Kylo Ren, that kind of became a problem. But yeah, I'd like to see a lot of the stuff he did in the EU, where he tried to make a new Jedi Order with new rules regarding, love and whatnot to help them out. Second question, which comic book, TV show, film, cartoon characters would make good Jedi? Ooh, okay. Dipper, I always said, would be a good, he would start out as a Jedi, but eventually, due to his own curious nature and his own, overreaction and aggression, he'd eventually become a Sith Lord. I kind of like Wander from Wander Over Yonder. He and Sylvia would be good Jedi. They would be excellent Jedi. Arrow would be another one. Arrow from Stormhawks. Marco would be a Jedi. Star, I don't know. Like, Star could work as a Jedi. Yeah, those are to name a few. Yeah. Anyway, third question. What would Yoda think of these characters? Raiden, Rick, Rose, Wander. I think he would pretty much think, oof, too old for this shit, am I? Oh, man. But anyway, thank you for those questions, Lydia. Moving on now to Green Arrow Hunter, who asks, Luke Skywalker versus Kyle Rayner, who wins? Okay. Luke Skywalker, very endowed with the Force, probably one of the, the Skywalker bloodline has always been pretty powerful. And master, great lightsaber duelist. But Kyle Rayner has a Green Lantern ring that his ring at the time, when he was the only Green Lantern left, his ring, could last longer and wasn't, immune to the, it was immune to the color yellow. Kyle Rayner can literally create anything, but, the Force is all around them. Oh, man, but here's the thing. If Luke can survive a long enough fight against Kyle, that ring's going to need to be recharged, so... But the Force and, Luke's lightsaber are not going to be needing that. So, that might be the case. I think I might give it to Luke on this one. Second, what do you think the IGN video, The Jedi Council's 9 Dumbest Decisions? I didn't see that video. I don't think I did. I must have missed that. I might have to check that out. Anyway. Third question. Should the Jedi practice the rule of two? I don't think so. I think, the world needs the, number of Jedi, because they, despite all their, hypocrisy and stupidity, I feel like the Jedi are needed in that great number to police the galaxy properly. Two Jedi can't go everywhere, whereas two Sith can work in the shadows, and the only enemy they have to face is, the only real enemy they really have to watch out for is their, each other. Anyway, so thank you for those questions, Green Arrow Hunter. Moving on now to Alexander Anayas. What kind of alien creatures from Star Wars would have been interesting choices as Jedi? I think a Trandoshan would be an interesting choice, personally. Well, Alex, I think that I'd like to see an Ewok Jedi. Yeah, an Ewok Jedi. Why have we gotten an Ewok Jedi yet? That'd be awesome. Just seeing him jump around and going, eee. Anyway. Yeah, Trandoshan Jedi would be really cool. I think, we've had a few Mon Calamari Jedi. Maybe a Queelish, and then a Queelish Jedi. Or a Chodafan Jedi. I don't think we had any of those. Anyway, thank you for that question. Your second one is, I love to hear the hypocrisy of Jedi. So do you think the Jedi, being few in number with a small order like the Sith, would make a much better choice overall? Kind of like what I said already. I feel like the Jedi need to be in such big number to properly police the galaxy that is, this galaxy that is so large. So I feel like this needs to, they need this big number. Now, I think what they really need to do is really rethink their rule book, honestly. Third question. How many Jedi does it take to scroll in the light bulb before Sidious executes Order 66? Well, the Jedi would study the light bulb, study its place in the galaxy, and then try to use the Force to screw it in, but then realize for some reason it's morally wrong, and have a debate about it. Meanwhile, Sidious is already executed Order 66, and they're all dead. There you go. Thank you for the question, Alex. Moving on now to Jalen Ford, who asks, if you were a Jedi Master, would you teach the younglings how to deal with their emotions instead of casting aside like they don't exist? Yeah, I would. I would teach them to use their emotions, but use them with restraint. Anger can be a good thing as long as you don't let it consume you. That's what I think a lot of Jedi forget, is that anger can be a great fuel for the Force. But the danger is, how much do you let it fuel you? But yeah. So yeah, I would be teaching that. Second question, if you were the only Jedi left and needed more money to teach younglings and feed them, would you become a Jedi bounty hunter? That'd be kind of awesome, really. So, maybe. Third question. Would you have a dual lightsaber, but one acts like a blaster and sword like Ezra's, while the other acts like a grappling hook and sword? I don't know about the grappling hook. You see, here's the thing. I never really liked the whole blaster saber Ezra had, because it was just like, that feels really gimmicky and really... It looks like a stapler gun. I'm sorry, no. His original lightsaber looked like a goddamn stapler gun. And I always thought whenever he shot it, that, little staplers were going to come out. In fact, someone better get on editing and have him shoot little like Photoshop little stapler pins shooting out whenever he fires the lightsaber. Someone do that right now. Go do that. But yeah, I think I would just stick with a traditional lightsaber. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Jalen. Moving on now to Jason Voorhees 2011, who asks, if Kanan masters his skill and ability to use the Force while being blind, who would win in a fight between him and Kenshi? I feel like Kenshi's been doing it longer, but, the Force is all around us. It surrounds us, it binds us, and all that. So, got something stuck in my throat, sorry. I might give it to Kanan. Very close battle, but I give it to Kanan. Anyway, second question: which Jedi do you think would get their own Marvel comic in the same vein that Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Kanan are? All right. I think we should bring back Quinlan Voss and do him properly this goddamn time around. Thank you, Clone Wars, for making him a beach surfer asshole. He says with sarcasm. Sorry, I was getting water. I know they're going to do an Ahsoka Tano comic. They haven't. I know. They haven't announced it yet, but I can just feel they're going to be doing an Ahsoka comic, or at least a mini-series around Ahsoka after she left. I just have a feeling. I know there's a novel coming out later this year about Ahsoka's time after leaving the Jedi Order, but I just have this weird feeling that they're going to do a mini-series about Ahsoka. Maybe not so much leaving the Jedi Order, but joining the, finally joining the rebellion and becoming Fulcrum like she was in the first season. That's what I kind of think. That she'll probably be one. Also, she'll probably explain how she got the silver lightsabers. Who else would be on this? Who else should get comics about themselves? Really, those are kind of the only ones right now. Anyway, third question: do you speculate what will happen with Rey in episodes 8 and 9? I foresee her becoming stronger and stronger in the Force. So I think that would be seeing her become stronger in the Force, as well as becoming more more stable and more competent with it. As well as really take Luke's training to heart. She's going to be his first Padawan. He's had in a long time. So that's going to really play with her. Mess with her. That I'm the only student he has left, and I'm not and I'm just starting out. Oh Lord. Anyway. Also, can I just talk about something real quick? Just off the record, just off the cuff. You know that photo that arose throughout the what's the word? Why did the word internet escape from me? God damn it! But yeah, for those who remember, there was a picture of Mark Hamill and Daisy Ridley, where Luke's got Mark's jumped on her back and she's carrying him, and he's pointing out kind of like how the whole Yoda Luke thing from Empire Strikes Back, and what happened was I think would be hilarious. Can I just talk about this real quick? I don't know what training regiment Daisy's on, but holy shit, how does she manage to pick him up and hold him? Because it looks like she has no problem holding him. Like, I don't know, I'm not saying Mark Hamill's fat, I'm just saying he's a very old man, and, he's pretty big, size-wise. So, can we just talk about how strong this woman is? She's just carrying him, no problem, Anyway, so thank you for those questions, Jason. Moving on now to Carlotta Studios, who asks, would Arrow from Stormhawks make a good Jedi? Yeah, I think he would. I really do think he would. I think he can make, I think he would make an excellent Jedi. Albeit have a little more fun with it, you know what I mean? Second question. What's your preferred target for ranting when it comes to the Jedi Order, and why? Mostly because of their hypocrisy and stupidity when it comes to students as well as handling the war. Here, and I'll get to more of that, but here's a quick example of, Jedi stupidity. When in the Clone Wars episodes, when they discovered the fate of Sifo Dyas and discovering that that Dooku isn't the Sith master, he's still the apprentice. And they discover what the clones were made by him. They decide, the clones have been doing so good. Let's just keep this to ourselves and move on like nothing's happening. Really? Really, fool? And this is Yoda saying this. Yoda said this to ignore it. And here I am thinking, no, you should investigate further. Why did Dooku make you an army? And, could it lead all the way to Palpatine? Why? Ugh. All right. Third question. What do you think would happen to Ahsoka if she left the Jedi? Oh, what do you think happened to Ahsoka after she left the Jedi? I was about to say, yeah, after she left the Jedi. I don't know, but we're gonna find out in that novel coming out later this year, so hopefully it'll be good. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Carlotta. Moving on now to Darth Venom, who asks, would you have liked to have Ben Skywalker, Jason and Jaina Solo in a new trilogy to have Disney not to be fucking around with the expanded universe? Yeah, but now they're officially out of canon with thanks to Ben Solo, aka Kylo Ren. So I don't think we'll ever get them. I also find it really funny that we now have a Ben Solo. We've kind of fused the two, Jason and Ben Skywalker together to create Ben Solo. Now Kylo Ren. Alright, second question. How would you make a movie based on Knights of the Old Republic? The problem is that Knights of the Old Republic is so friggin' huge, so I think I would just stick with Revan's redemption. And who knows, can we just have Revan back, please? Third question. Do you think it would be possible if Obi-Wan raised Luke on his own and trained him at an early age and not give him to Owen Lars? I didn't think about that. I've never thought about, why didn't Yoda just say, hey, in case the Empire discovers Luke's alive, and for whatever reason they gunned down Owen and Beru, how about you take him, Obi-Wan, and train him, yourself? He's going to be Force sensitive, so train him, raise him and train him yourself, or at least, here's an even better. You can leave him with Owen and Aunt Beru, but at least come over on occasion, watch, or train him at least, or you can just have him train and then let him see his aunt and uncle. I don't know. That's actually a really good question. Why didn't Yoda just say train? We're the last. We could, Obi-Wan, you and I could be the last two Jedi left left in the whole galaxy. Everyone else could be, all of our friends could be, are dead, and there could be thousands more dead. So, how about this? How about you take, at least Luke, let Senator Organa, raise Leia. I don't think the Empire will notice. But how about you take Luke, because he feels probably stronger in the Force than Leia does. You take him, you train him, and maybe if you want to, let him see his last two members of his family. Because we're the last two Jedi, and if the Sith are going to, if the Jedi Order is ever going to be restored, then we need all the Jedi we can get. Or better yet, why don't you just take Leia too? Just raise them both in the Force. That's a good ass question. Huh? Why didn't I think of that? It's good on you, So thank you for those questions, Darth Venom. Moving on now to Joel Davis, who asks, do you think Rey could become a Jedi, Grey Jedi, or will she become something new, much like how Kylo is not a Sith? I think the possibilities are kind of endless. Right now, we're kind of seeing her become a Jedi, but who knows? Maybe she'll be like, well, maybe because since your order fell and the previous Jedi Order fell, maybe we need a new Jedi Order. Or new rules. Have you ever considered being a Grey Jedi? I like Grey Jedi just fine, but I feel like Grey Jedi are just a cop out for, I want to be awesome, but I don't want to totally be a Sith, and have my body destroyed by the Force corrupt me to the point where I look like a sweaty ball sack. But yeah, that's kind of the initiative right there. Is that the Grey Jedi? The Grey Jedi are cool, but sometimes I feel like they're cop-outs. Like, I want to be a badass, but I don't want to totally be a Sith and look like a swollen testicle by the end of my days. Anyway, but all in all, I like them. Have I ever considered Grey Jedi? A little bit, but let's face it, Sith in the sheets, baby. All right. Third question. Have you ever have a Jedi Master? Who would you pick and why? Probably Master Thom. That dude knew how to train a Jedi as well as teach them to use their emotions. Yeah. So, thumb. So, thank you for those questions, Joel. Moving on now to George Paldillo, who asks, what do you think of the Ahsoka and Lux ship? I never really cared for ships in Star Wars, really. I don't know why, it just never grabbed me. I don't know. So thank you for that question. Moving on now to Grimlock1992, who asks, what are these following characters could become Jedi? Optimus, Ratchet from Ratchet and Clank, Jack from Jack and Daxter, Goliath, or Sora from Kingdom Hearts? Sora has what it takes to be a Jedi, and so does Goliath. I don't know about everyone else, but then again, maybe Optimus as well. Second question, if they bring back Shaak Ti in a later installment, would you like to see her as the main focus or backstory related? I don't know, I'd like to see her, and, her death is still out of, her deleted scene death in Revenge of the Sith is still out of canon. So I bet you that we may see her in, Rebels sometime, or she may have gone into hiding, who knows. Anyway, so, yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, I'd like to see her, all in all. I think those, oh wait, you got one more question. I'm sorry. If you were a Jedi, what age in the series would you like to be? Would you like to be in the prequel, original, or sequel? Maybe prequel. Well, then I'd have to deal with Jedi bullshit. So maybe sequel series. Yeah, let's go Force Awakens and then on. Think of those questions, Grimlock. Moving on now to 25 Kid, who asks, are the Jedi Order a bunch of emos because that's how they use the Force to get out of having families? Yeah, you can almost see that. Second question, how cool would it be if Connor or Duncan MacLeod were Jedis and the Sith would be the Kurgan and Jacob Krell? Oh man, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. Third question, how would you do a Firefly Star Wars crossover? I don't know how this pertains to Jedi-centric, but I'll go ahead and answer it, whatever. Maybe have the Jedi of maybe this little the whole wormholes thing. I don't know, because none of them really did the whole different dimensions kind of thing. So it's really difficult. Anyway, I have to think on that a little more. Think of those questions, 25 Kid. Moving on now to Mike Root, who asks, what would the Jedi Order think of these characters? Dan from Dan Versus, Coop and Megas from Megas XLR, Ford, Homer Simpson, Star Butterfly, and Vader Zim, Samurai Jack as recruits. I think the only ones they'd really take are Ford, maybe Star, and Jack. Those would be the only ones they would take as recruits. Jar Jar Binks is put in charge of the Order. What levels of fucked up are the Jedi Republic? Why is he even a senator to begin with? Why was he first made a... what fucking qualified him to be called General Jar Jar during the Battle of Naboo? And then, who the fuck decided, let's make this gigantic schmuck a senator for the Galactic Republic, and oh yeah, let's give him a chance to put this other, our other senator from Naboo in power, so eventually kind of leading everything to, to great googly moogly, it's all turned to shit. What the fuck? Who the fuck? Anyway. Alright, third question. With Star Wars being owned by Disney, would you like to see some Jedi characters add to Kingdom Hearts? So, if so, what Jedi would be in it? It would probably be the Rebels characters, more than likely, because Disney likes to really promote Star Wars Rebels, so I think it would be... it would more than likely, if we did get Star Wars characters in there, it would more than likely be Rebels, or it might be because that way they can use it as an excuse to use other characters, and it looks really possible that Kingdom Hearts may have Marvel and Star Wars characters in the third game, because that's really looking more and more. Also, god damn it, do I want a lightsaber Keyblade? Tell me that's not awesome. Also, can we just have a boss fight with Vader? Vader boss fight, as well as, if at all possible, when you do the tournament arena, the arena matches in Hercules World, can we get like one of the battles, like, how you had to face Cloud in one match, How about this? How about having Darth Maul as a boss fight in the arena matches? Would that be cool? Like, you could have Duel of Fates come on when Maul just walks in. He just ignites his saber staff, and he's just like, bring it. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Mike. Moving on now to NX57. Yeah, NX57 who asks, who do you think is the worst Jedi ever? You know, Mace Windu has some really cool stories, but I just find him really boring in the movies. I don't know, he just kind of rubbed me the wrong way all the time. He was just... And that's the thing. Samuel L. Jackson, a character played by Samuel L. Jackson, is a character I don't care about. Why is that? Anyway. Did you know that the Jedi Master Ki-Adi-Mundi, the head cone guy, had 5 wives and 7 daughters? It was a very special case because he had his species had a low birth rate. Yeah, I believe that, but also at the same time, you know, the Jedi were like, you have family, that means you have attachment. Alright, you can be a Jedi Master. Alright, go ahead. Come on, you crazy kid, you. Hypocrisy of the Jedi! What character from the Star Trek universe would make a good Jedi? Spock? Do I even need to say it? Spock. Oh boy. Sorry to get something to drink. So thank you for those questions, NX. Moving on now to Xavier Ford, who asks, Grandmaster Luke Skywalker wakes up on Kylo Ren's flagship. Wakes up on Kylo Ren's flagship. What do you think Luke and Kylo's reaction to one another be like? What do you think would happen if? Yeah, I think it would be a very bloody fight. But I think that version of Luke would probably be the winner. What do you think would happen if Luke told Kylo about Darth Caedus? I think he would be like, "Oh, in another universe, another son of Solo became a Sith Lord. What are the odds?" Second question: who would win, Silvar or Lucien Dray, the new Marvel Comics? Who would win, Silvar or Lucien Dray? Man, that is a lot of questions. Oh, was it one question? I don't know. Who would win? Probably Silvar in that fight. Give it a little bit, but I think it might go to Silvar because she puts a lot of power in the Force when she fights. The new Marvel Comics show that Shakti was alive after Revenge of the Sith. This was shown through a holocron. What do you think of this? Well, that's good. I know she's probably gonna get killed sometime, but yeah. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Nicholas Harley. I'm guessing the first time was just like one question, but it just got broke up, whatever. Nicholas Harley asks, what do you think what would you do with the Force if you had it? Probably choke some people out. Just saying. Jedi versus the Gem Homeworld, who would win? I don't know, because the Jedi, even if you amass them all together, that's only 10,000 Jedi, really. While Homeworld is probably around somewhere in the millions. But then you got the Force, so it would be a bloody battle, but I think the gems would just overwhelm them. The Fellowship of the Ring from Lord of the Rings meet the Jedi. What happens? I think Gimli would want to, Gimli would be like, oof, bunch of stuck-up monks. Yeah. Thank you for those questions, Nicholas. Moving on now to Darth Nerdum, who asks, would you rather be a Jedi or an Autobot? I'd like to, actually be somewhat human, so Jedi. So, moving on now to Fire Tools, who asks, what iconic order, military, or superpower force from other sci-fis would you want to pit against the Jedi and Sith against? What other orders? Maybe the... That is an interesting quandary right there, my friend. Maybe the Reapers from Mass Effect? There you go. Alright, we got a werewolf Jedi from the old Tarkovsky Clone Wars series. What other horror or fantasy movies would you like to see become Jedi? How about like Jedi that look like elves? That'd be cool. Thank you for those questions, Fire Tools. Moving on now to Rakai Tway, hope I'm saying that name right, who asks, how do you think the Jedi would react to someone who can manipulate Chi like Ryu, Ken, Akuma, and Goku? I think they would react to, oh, what is this? This isn't the Force, this is something new, this is tangible energy. Alright? How would the Jedi interpret Chi? Just like I said, they would think, it's something new. This isn't the power of the Force, this is coming from within. This isn't, universal energy, this is from your own body. Do you think a Predator could kill a Jedi if experienced and skilled enough? Maybe. I mean, droids have been known to kill Jedi, so I don't see why a Predator, with enough hunting skills could probably take out a Jedi. Anyway. So, thank you for those questions, Rakai Tway. Moving on now to Christopher Rosa, who asks, first question, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the Jedi society and culture and the flaws and hypocrisy, what strengths and but also their strengths and virtues. I think that kind of togetherness is a strength and virtue in and of itself. Their need to protect the galaxy is also, admirable. But the whole thing of, certain people can't be trained at a certain age, the love, feeling is a damnable offense. It's very contradictory to what they preach as well. You can love others, but you can't love them? What the fuck is that? Anyway. Second question. What are your thoughts on the Jedi Order or Jedi precursors? The Jedi Order. I like it, just fine. Alright. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the Jedi Covenant and the First Wrath Circle from Jedi's Knights of the Old Republic comic. In a way, these Jedi represent the Jedi flaws and hypocrisies at the worst. The Jedi Covenant was found on noble goals, stopping the Sith from forming these Jedi. They just kind of went wrong. Like, they totally tried to, they wanted to stop the Sith from ever happening, again, after the whole thing with Darth Khan. But, yeah, this, they kind of took it to a whole nother level that really represented the Jedi at their worst. So, yeah. Thank you for those questions, Christopher. Moving on now to Danny DeSanta, who asks, what Marvel or DC superheroes would make an awesome Jedi? I guess, Captain America's got what it takes to be a Jedi, so do Hawkeye and Black Widow. Well, not Black Widow, but Hawkeye definitely. If you were a Jedi Padawan, I already answered this one. What actresses would play a Jedi in the Star Wars movie? I'd like to see Ron Perlman play an old badass Jedi. Yeah, Ron Perlman as a Jedi would be awesome. I'd like to see... Maybe Julia Roberts? Maybe. There you go, just to name a few. Alright, so moving on now to Shockwave Spider, who asks, what heroes from video games, Disney shows, Nicktoons, Cartoon Network would make, such as Buzz Lightyear, Mario, Kirby, Duck Dodger, would make great Jedi? Kind of already answered this one. Yeah, I already answered this one, Shockwave Spider. Second question. How would you make the Jedi Order better systems without the flaws whatsoever? I already answered this one. And what would Star Command think of the Jedi Order? They'd probably think, yeah, these guys are tough, these guys can fight, but they're a bunch of, they're more like monks who don't, should leave the peacekeeping to actual soldiers. At least that's how I kind of interpret it. So, moving on, thank you for those questions, Shockwave Spider. Moving on now to Andre Partridge, who asks, which Jedi from Star Wars Clone Wars series was your favorite? They never really spent a lot of time on the other Jedi, and when they did, they just felt like two-dimensional characters. So, yeah, kind of didn't care about the other, the other Jedi that weren't in the comics. So, yeah. Second question. Do you think any of the crystal gems would make good Jedi or not? Garnet would probably be the best candidate for being a Jedi out of all of them. What if Goku and Vegeta joined the Jedi Order for a day? What happens? They'd be like, Clone War's over. We win. Also, Palpatine's probably a bad guy. You should look into that. Anyway. So, thank you for those questions, Andre. Moving on now to Wolfman the Impaler, who asks, how big of an idiot was Obi-Wan for not telling Luke that Leia was his sister after that, given that it was obvious that he thought she was hot? Yeah, I feel like you should have brought that up at some point or another. That you have a sister. You have a sister. It's Leia. Bet you feel weird kissing her, right? But yeah, I feel like that's another thing Obi-Wan should have mentioned. Second question. Do you think that Order 6 wouldn't have happened if the Jedi Order allowed relationships for knights and saved a whole celibacy thing for masters like Yoda, Mace Windu, and Obi-Wan? Yeah, that's a good question. Like, maybe... I think Order 66 would have happened regardless, but I feel like if you become a master... You become a knight of celibacy, but then again, what if you did, what if you chose to become a master, and you had to, you already had a family? It's kind of confusing. I feel like you should have done with the whole, but it's kind of. I think, regardless, the bottom line, I think Order 66 would have happened, regardless, and would have been a lot more messier. Third question. How come Yoda and Obi-Wan didn't call bullshit when Anakin became a Force ghost after all the atrocities he committed, including murdering children? I can't really get over the whole when Lucas, Lucas never really had Anakin kill anyone. Yeah, you could say, but he killed Mace Windu. No, he just cut off his hand. Sidious did all the other work. And, he killed Tyrannus. Yeah, but that was another Sith Lord. If you had it, I think a lot of people would be cool with it. Like in the, remember the Revenge of the Sith game? You guys remember the Revenge of the Sith video game, which actually is a lot cooler version of Revenge of the Sith? I mean, Revenge of the Sith is okay, but if they went the way the story of the video game, which actually has Mace Windu being killed by Anakin, and I honestly thought when I was a kid, because the video game came out first and I played through it, it was awesome. And then when I saw he just chopped off his hand, and then Sidious just blasted him out of the window. I was like, well, that feels like a ripoff. And just like in that level, when you go to purge the Jedi Temple, you run into a few Jedi Masters, and you fight them. And I think one of them's Sindrawling. I think, I could be wrong, but I think one of those Jedi you fight is Sindrawling. But, yeah. And it just turns out to be killing children. But then again, he saved his son, so I guess... kind of evens out. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Wolfman the Impaler. Moving on now to Brian Cam, hope I'm saying that name right, and he asks, what would the Green Lantern and Nova Corps think of the Jedi Order? Would they team up or fight? Probably team up. They'd probably all team up, really protect the galaxy. Second question, if they were to fight, which out of the three do you think would win? Perhaps the Green Lantern Corps. They actually outnumber the Jedi Order and the Nova Corps actually has a lot more members. Not anymore, there's only one left now that I think about it, but going back to when there was a Nova Corps, yeah. Third question. After seeing some fan art, do you think Anna and Elsa from Frozen would make good Jedi? Yeah, I could see it, probably. I mean, I'm not the biggest Frozen fan, but sure, why not? First question. How would you feel about think of those questions, Brian. Moving on now to Linerman0245, who asks, how would you feel about crossed Jedi? Terrified or cringeworthy? Probably, more than likely, both. Definitely both. Second question. Which of the following characters' reaction to the Jedi Order? Stannis Baratheon, Connor Kenway, Arya Stark, Garrus Vakarian, Morden Solis, Dean Winchester, and Crowley. Probably Crowley would think, ugh, you guys suck. Dean would be like, man, you guys can't have sex ever? Ugh. Morden would find them interesting. Garrus would respect them, peacekeepers of the galaxy. Arya Stark would probably want to join them. Connor Kenway would think they're a bunch of pansies, and Stannis wouldn't care because the Force is nothing compared to the Lord of Light. All right, do you think Guts from Berserk would work as a Jedi or not? I would have to say not. I mean, he's a great swordsman and all, but there's too much darkness and rage in his heart to make him a true follower of the Force, unfortunately. Thank you for those questions, Linerman. Moving on now to Alistair Boneman, who asks, do you have a theory why Rey of To Force Awakens was able to beat Kylo Ren when she had no training as a Jedi and Kylo was trained by Luke? I feel like, Kylo didn't have all of his training. And you gotta understand, before he fought Rey, he got blasted by a bowcaster in the side by Chewbacca, and then he received some wounds in his fight with Finn. Anyway. So I feel like they were... And also, Snoke admitted he didn't complete Kylo Ren's training. Anyway. Second question. What are your thoughts on Mara Jade? One of the most awesome characters in Star Wars history, not just in EU ever. Third question. Do you prefer the old extended universe or the new extended universe? And if you could change or make thing from either included, old or new, what would it be? The old universe, while it was cool, it did have some really weird ideas, like making a bizarro Luke Skywalker. What the hell was that? And there are a few other things. I also feel like the previous EU was starting to get a little crowded, and now we have new room for new stories. But at the same time, I'm like, you shouldn't have rebooted everything. You feel like, you could at least, bring back some stuff. I mean, I know Star Wars. I know stuff like Darth Krayt and Cade Skywalker are probably out the door, but come on, seriously, what the hell? Let's keep some stuff. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Alistair Boneman. Moving on now to Cody Bradish, who asks, who would make a better Jedi? Human Twilight Sparkle, Pony Twilight, or Sunset Simmer? Human Twilight. Well, I guess Equestria Girls Twilight would work as well, and Sunset as well. They'd all work. Second question: how deep do you think they'll get into the journey it takes for to become a Jedi, and when Luke trains Rey in the Star Wars movies? It'll probably be another overarching thing for 8 and 9. And now apparently we're getting 3 more episodes as well. We're getting 10, 11, 12. Alright, I guess that is happening. Anyway, so moving on now to Fox Mulder, who asks, the following people are Force sensitive: Alucard, Aang, Korra, Pen-Zero, and Sashi. What color sabers would they be? Oh, Alucard would have a red saber. He wouldn't even join the Sith. He would just have a red saber because on the sole ground of it fit, it's my type of color. Aang would probably have a orange saber. Orange sabers are for counselors, which means you fight for, you try to fight, you try to talk your way out of a situation without using the need for violence. So orange saber for Aang. Korra and Pen would both have... Korra and Pen would probably have blue sabers, because blue sabers represent protection of others, and that's what they want to do, protect others. Sashi would probably have a purple saber, because purple sabers represent the line you walk between light and darkness. So, purple saber. For Sashi. Do you think second question. Do you think the Force is a scientific ability or like a mutation or a mystical power? I'm with the original canon. It's not, midichlorians suck, but I mean, the Darth Plagueis novel made it look, gave it a little more sense that the midichlorians are not they don't give you the Force. They're just bacteria who act like a lightning rod for the Force. Like, they don't generate themselves. They can just absorb. They're like a conduit for the Force through your body. So I was a little more okay with it. I'm still not okay on the word midichlorian itself. But yeah, I'm more in it with that it's a mystical power. All right. Third question. Which code would you follow more, Jedi or Sith? Sith. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Fox Mulder. Moving on now to Dylan Malone 14, who asks, Do you think that someone from the Sith can become a Jedi? It's happened before. Look at Darth Revan. Second question: How do you think who do you think is the strongest of the Jedi Order? Yoda. I think we've established that that Yoda's the most powerful. If you can help rebuild the Jedi Order, what new things would you... I already answered this one with new stuff, but thank you for those questions, Dylan. Moving on now to... moving on now to Media Detective, who asks, can you tell me why the code of not marrying was made in Knights of the Old... Because in Knights of the Old Republic, Jedi were allowed to marry, and nothing seemed bad there. Back then, Jedi were allowed to have marriages and feel emotions, but eventually the Jedi felt like you needed to be completely committed to the Force. So that's why they kind of did away with it. And some Jedi, one Jedi lost his family and went on kind of a rampage, so that actually, that was more of a story. It was never confirmed or not. But yeah, the main reason was the Jedi felt you need to be completely and utterly committed to the Force. So what you need to do is do away with your family and commit to the Jedi Order and the protection of the Force. Anyway. Second question. Why do you think the Jedi are the closest to... which Jedi are the closest to killing Darth Vader? Not counting Luke or Obi-Wan. Quinlan Voss? Yeah, Quinlan Voss came pretty close in his fight with Vader. I would also venture to say... Thome? Yeah, Thome would have been one. Kyle Katarn, there's another. Just to name a few. Third question: Do you think if you were a Jedi, would you do what Revan did and just be a hero that doesn't care about the Jedi's bullshit? Yeah, that'd probably be me. That'd probably be me along with Revan. So think of those questions, Media Detective. Moving on now to Andrew Schaefer, who asks, "Why are the Jedi such idiotic hypocrites?" Because when Lucas was writing the Jedi Order, he completely, he wrote so many holes into the story that, made you want to tear your hair out, and I'm glad it's no longer with you, Lucas. Yes, you fought the big bad Fox Corporation, but when you wrote the prequels, you completely spat on everything else you wrote that made Star Wars great. Yeah, let's face it, there are some cool things in the prequel universe. They're really good, but subjectively, if you look at those movies, they're still pretty bad. I mean, oof, whipped myself into a frenzy right there. I mean, yeah, I like Revenge of the Sith, but I will admit that it's not a great film. There are things in that film I really don't like. So yeah, it's mostly due to the writing, and not just Lucas, but there's a few other times where you're like, God damn it, do you have to write these characters stupidly? Just so, for sake of plot? I don't know. Second question. If you could pick I already answered this Jedi Master question. If you could become a Jedi, what would you be a battle master and teach the younglings the basics of lightsabers, or would you be a Jedi counselor and handle Jedi more political problems? I hate politics, so I'd probably be a battle master. Anyway. Think of those questions, Andrew Schaefer. Andrew Varney asks, first question, which of the following characters would make good Jedi? Stephen, Connie, Link, Sora, the 10th Doctor, Tommy, He-Man, Aragon, and Mr. Spock. Stephen and Connie, as much as they care for one another, I think the Jedi would deny them to be Jedi because, the love they share for one another. Link, Sora, 10th Doctor, well, the 10th Doctor may be a little too emotionally unstable for that. Tommy, same as well. He-Man and Aragon, possibly, and Spock, yes. Same with Link. Are any of the Jedi worthy of lifting Thor's hammer without using the Force? Well, even with the Force, they couldn't even lift it, I think. That's a debate in of itself, honestly. I would have to say, I would say maybe Obi-Wan and possibly Yoda. Although Yoda with a hammer would be fucking hysterical. Yoda reacts to the following: Randy Cunningham, Finn, Saitama, and Genos. Doctor Strange, Phineas and Ferb, Isabella, Bridge Nappa, and Peridot. Again, he would be like, "Ooh, too old for this shit I am." Too old for this shit I am. Anyway, so thank you for those questions, Andrew Varney. Moving on now to RoboKaiju75, who asks, if you have played the game Jedi Academy for PS2 and Xbox, if so, what are your thoughts on it? It's been a while since I played that game. A long while, honestly, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Second question, if you could have a team of 4 anime heroes, such as 2 male, 2 female, become Jedi and work together, who would you pick? You said Ichigo, Kazaki, Birdie, and Sailor Moon. I would pick the Major from Ghost in the Shell. I would also have maybe Walter from Hellsing. Train from Black Cat, and maybe Sailor Pluto. There you go. Third question: how would a Jedi Netflix or sci-fi series, if given a chance, and what characters would be focused on? I think it would be cool because I feel like that would be the next logical step for Star Wars. For Disney to use Star Wars. I mean, they're already working it with the Marvel stuff, so I think it's only a matter. I think it's not a matter of if; it's a matter of when they decide to do a Star Wars Netflix series. And if they decide to do a Jedi story, I feel like they'll just focus on totally new characters. But if I had a chance, I would say focus on Quinlan Vos and his apprentice Ayla Secura. But yeah, that's just me though. So yeah, that's all the questions. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for sending in questions. This was a lot of fun. Pretty long Q&A, but I've had longer. But yeah, once again, if I did not answer someone's questions, that usually means either YouTube marked it as spam or not have it on here at all. So I want to thank everybody for all of that. And once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.